We are following very closely a court case involving the former Transnet executives, including business people that were allegedly involved in a multi-million rand tender, a locomotives tender that institution would have awarded. This was back in 2012. So what happened just a few moments ago is that the six accused, who include in them the former CEO of Transnet, Siyabonga Gama, their case has been dealt with, and they are the people who are to return to court on the 14th of October. That is subject to the state disclosing the charge sheet and the full disclosure of the content, therefore, of the charges against them. However, among these six accused is a Mr. Moodley, who is scheduled to return to the court on the 7th of September. It does appear that there are some legal matters that need to be dealt with as far as he is concerned. Then there is the element about the other people that have been joined to this case. Those are the people whose faces we have yet to see, but there are reports already that the former executive Brian Molefe from Transnet, including Anoj Singh, who would have been the CFO of that organization, they are the people who have been added to this list. Their faces, we have yet to see them, and the wonder is whether they are going to appear in court for their formal bail application to be dealt with. So let's stay with this matter and bring into the conversation now the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, and we speak to Rudi Heyneke, who is with that organization. Rudi, good morning to you, and thanks indeed for your time. You will be very aware of this particular case because you are understood to have helped the investigative directorate with this particular Transnet deal. Explain to us first just how many people in total are likely to be before court, because there is a joinder today, more people added to the charge sheet, and the understanding is that there is going to be likely more. So do you have a total number of people who might be indicted here?
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I've got information that this morning another 4 people in the form of Mr. Brian Molefe, Mr. Anoj Singh, Mr. Niven Pillay, and Mr. Lita Nonya will be in the court today as well. With regards to our investigation, I do believe that Mr. Salim Essa and one of the Gupta brothers should be also charged, and hopefully that will happen in the near future.
So does that then take us any closer to the 17 in total? These are the people that, according to your investigations, will ultimately be charged for alleged wrongdoing relating to this tender.
Yes, some of the people that we investigated and that we have, given information to the ID, maybe some of them will be used as state witnesses, but I think it's getting closer to the number of 17 that we have, initiated at the start of the investigation.
While we're talking names, Rudi, you've mentioned Salim Essa and you've mentioned a Gupta brother. Do you think that South Africans, by the 14th of October, might be lucky to see the faces of these much talked about people, Salim Essa and a Gupta brother? These are people that we understand are no longer in the country, even though efforts to bring them back to face these charges have been ongoing.
With regards to the Gupta brother, Mr. Atul Gupta, as far as I understand, and there was confirmation that he is arrested, currently in Dubai, and that extradition negotiations and that the extradition matter will will be before the courts there in due time. So I hope that will be successful and that he will be extradited to face the charges also here in South Africa, not only on this case, but also with regards to the Free State matters that's already in court.
If you were to just explain to the viewers, Rudi Heyneke, as to what exactly is the reason for why these people are before court. Very simple, in a manner that all can understand. What was the issue?
Well, it's not so easy to explain it in a very, very simple matter, but I'm going to try. The previous accused, the six persons in front of court now, Mr. Gama, Pita, Ramasaburi, Wood, and Mudley, and Daniel, they were charged with regards to the club loan. That was a loan that was obtained by Transnet from a consortium of banks in South Africa. I think the charges today, or the accused that will be appearing today, will be for the front runner of this club loan, and that was a financial transaction between Transnet and CDB, the China Development Bank, where the people that I've named previously played a very big role in landing that facility for Transnet, but at a very, very high cost. And previously, the former treasurer of Transnet, Ms. Evelyn Magatu, she testified before the State Capture Commission and said that, negotiations on that CDB loan was, it went dead. And after a state visit by former President Zuma in December 2014, new life was kicked into that negotiations, and by June 2015, that loan was signed, and Mr. Brian Molefe, the day before he left Transnet, signed off on the term sheet, the letter of engagement with the CDB, with the bank. And I think that is one of the reasons why he is appearing in court today. And on both these loans, regiments, the directors of regiments as well as Trillion, received millions in kickbacks, and some of that money was siphoned through to the Guptas, to Sahara Computers, and that's why I do believe that they should also be part of the accused.
How incriminating or strong is the evidence against all of the accused?
Well, we have submitted a Section 27 referral in August 2020 to the ID, and I must say, I think that, the affidavit and the evidence that we submitted to the ID is strong, and they could have gone further with their investigations, obviously obtaining more documents such as bank statements, etc. So I do believe that the state has got a strong case here, and hopefully I've just heard now that the matter has been postponed to the 14th of October for the police docket and so forth. So hopefully we will see the trial starting in the near future.
Let's conclude the conversation with the criticism that's been leveled against the NPA and the people that you have been dealing with, the ID, the Investigative Directorate. That's a structure within the NPA. The criticism has been that they have been too slow to finalize any of these matters. Might this particular one be one of those that gets concluded perhaps speedily, so that South Africans can rest assured that at least some of the people who have been accused of enabling state capture are behind bars, at least some of them? Or is this too complicated a matter to be resolved anytime soon?
Well, the whole state capture matter, if one look at the broad case, is quite complicated. But when you break it down into segments and charges like this on specific contracts, specific deals, then I do not think that it is that complicated. I think in the past there was some fair criticism on the NPA for dragging their feet and not speeding up the investigations, or the prosecutions rather. The ID is a fairly young institution and an arm of the NPA, but they are getting to it now, and I think that the investigations that they have done are of a high standard, and that we will see these matters proceeding in court in due time.
Rudi, Heyneke, let me thank you very much for your time. He is with the organization OUTA, or the organization Undoing Tax Abuse.